welcome back to our channel. So today we are going to talk about hypersensitivity and what is hypersensitivity and their classification and their mechanism of action. So come, let's go into the video. So what is hypersensitivity? Usually the immune response or the immune system of our own body responds against a foreign body which enters into the host. But in some situations, the immune response is overreacting or over responding towards a foreign body, which results in damaging our own cells and tissues, and that's known as hypersensitivity. So hypersensitivity can even lead to death, and this hypersensitivity is broadly classified into immediate type and delayed type. So the major difference between immediate type and delayed type is the immediate type appears and recedes rapidly, and delayed type takes 48 to 72 hours to appear, and the immediate type is antibody mediated and the delayed type is cell mediated. And the immediate type can be transferred through serum easily, but the delayed type cannot be transferred through serum, but it can be transferred through leukocytes and transfer factor. The immediate type is short-lived and easily desensitizable, and the delayed type is difficult to desensitize. Induction in immediate type through antigen or haptens through any route, and in delayed type, antigen injected intradermally or Freud's adjuvant or skin contact. And in 1963, it was further divided into 4 types: type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4, where the type 1, 2 and 3 are immediate reaction, and the type 4 is cell mediated or T lymphocyte mediated, and it is known as delayed reaction. And later the type 5 hypersensitivity was also described. Type 1 anaphylactic reaction, where it is further divided into 2 types. One is acute, potentially fatal, and it is also known as systemic form, and it is called as anaphylaxis. And type 2 is recurrent and non-fatal, and it is also known as atopy. Mechanism of anaphylaxis. So what is this anaphylaxis? As I said before, it is acute and fatal. So the reaction of our immune system is going to be greater than what we expect or what we need. So we have a sensitizing dose and a shocking dose. So what is this sensitizing dose and what is this shocking dose? This sensitizing dose is nothing but exposing our own body to a new foreign particle where we are not exposed till date. So that is a first phase of exposure to a foreign particle, and that is known as sensitizing dose. And within 2 to 3 weeks, if we get exposed to the same particle again, and that is known as shocking dose. So what happens between this sensitizing dose and shocking dose is the mechanism of anaphylaxis. So what happens in this shocking dose? When it is comes to shocking dose, our body gets immunized and get ready to defend the new foreign particle which we are allergic to, and we doesn't know that still. So within this 2 to 3 weeks we are getting ready, and when we get exposed to the same foreign particle, and that is known as shocking dose, and the reaction of our immune system is going to be 10 times greater than what we need, and that reaction is known as hypersensitivity, and this may even lead to death. So what happens between this 2 to 3 weeks of gap? So our body releases cytotropic antibody IgE against the antigen, that is the foreign particle which we are allergic to, and this IgE get attached to the receptors on the mast cell and the basophil. So when it is attached to the mast cell or the basophil, it is ready for the shocking dose. So when we are again exposed to the same foreign particle or the genetically same foreign particle, and that antigen get attached to the IgE now. So when this antibody and the antigen get attached and combine to form a antigen antibody complex, this complex stimulate the mast cell or the basophil to release the mediators, which is responsible for the clinical manifestation of the anaphylaxis. So what are the clinical manifestation of anaphylaxis? So the clinical manifestations, it can be fainting or vasoconstriction, vasodilation and smooth muscle constriction, and sometimes bronchodilation, bronchoconstriction also. And these manifestations differ from one mediator to another, as different mediators have different kind of significant clinical manifestation. So it depends on the mediators which is released by the mast cell or the basophil. So when it comes to mediators, these mediators are broadly classified into two. So one is primary mediators and the second is secondary mediators. So primary mediators are preformed mediators that are already readily available in the mast cell or the basophil, and secondary mediators are mediators which are created after the stimulation of the mast cell or the basophil. So when it comes to primary mediators, they are of three types, and one is histamine, and that becomes the most important mediators in humans, and this results in vasodilation and increase the permeability of the capillaries, and it also results in constriction of smooth muscles. And the second one is serotonin, and that results in vasoconstriction and increase the permeability of capillaries, and it also results in constriction of smooth muscle. And the third one is eosinophil chemotactic factor of anaphylaxis, and this results in increase of the level of eosinophil in our body, and that results in many hypersensitive conditions, and even the increase in neutrophil in our body results in neutrophilic chemotactic factor of anaphylaxis, and even that results in many hypersensitive conditions. So when it comes to secondary mediators, the first one is slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis. This is more potent bronchoconstrictor than histamine. So histamine is also a bronchoconstrictor, but this is more potent bronchoconstrictor and it is very serious, and it also causes sustained constriction of smooth muscles. And the second one is prostaglandin and thromboxane, which is also a bronchoconstrictor. And the third one is platelet activating factor, which aggravates the release of platelets in our body, and that increase the release of vasoactive amines. When it comes to features of anaphylaxis, this anaphylaxis occurs within seconds or within minutes after the shocking dose. So the cytotoxic IgE is responsible for this anaphylaxis, and the organ or the tissue which get affected is known as target tissue or target organ, and lung is the most common target organ in our body. So this may result in bronchospasm and anaphylactic shock, and it may also result in death. So as I said before, type 1 hypersensitivity, that is anaphylactic reaction, has two types. One is anaphylaxis and the other is atopy. As we saw about the anaphylaxis, now we are going into atopy. So atopy is typified by hay fever and asthma. And the most common antigen of this type of anaphylactic reaction is food and home dust and pollens. So these atopins induce the release of IgE antibodies. So when it comes to features of atopy, they run in families where the individuals have the tendency to release IgE in large amount than the usual, and reactions occurs in the site of entry of the antigen. For example, in the inhalation of pollens or the home dust that results in infection or allergic reaction in the lungs, and when it is intake of fish or any other allergic food, and injection of drugs that result in digestive disorders and ectopic eruptions, and contact leads to local allergies. So mechanism of atopy is similar to the mechanism of anaphylaxis, but it is not fatal, but it is recurrent and consistent. So the same Ig is attached to the receptor of mast cell or basophil, and when the antigen get attached to the IgE, it forms the complex of antigen and antibody complex, and that stimulates the release of mediators, and these mediators results in the clinical features. And examples of atopy is food allergy, like example fish or mushroom, and drug allergy, example penicillin. So when it comes to type 2 hypersensitivity, that is cytotoxic reaction. This cytotoxic reaction is mediated by IgG, and sometimes it is mediated by IgM. So this antibody is attached to the antigen on the cell surface, and this results in damaging of the cell itself. So when the antibody binds to the antigen, it affects the cell also, and what it causes is phagocytosis and cytotoxicity of the natural killer, and it also results in lysis through the activation of complement system. So when it comes to examples, the autoimmune anemia and hemolytic disease of newborn, where the lysis of red blood cells occurs due to the formation of anti-erythrocytic antibody. So when it comes to drug reaction, the Pseudomonas purpura, which is the classical example of cytotoxic reaction, but which we are not using now. It is a sedative drug which is coated on the platelets, and the antibodies are produced to destroy the platelets which are coated with this drug. But it also affects the platelets which are not coated with this drug also, and this leads to thrombocytopenic purpura. So when it comes to type 3 hypersensitivity, that is immune complex reaction, it is characterized as antigen antibody complex in tissues, and activation of complement and injection of polymorphonucleoleucocytes, which results in tissue damage. So the type 3 is further divided into two: Arthur's reaction, that is localized, and it is due to relative excess of antibodies, and the type 2 is serum sickness, which is generalized and which is due to relative excess of antigen in our body. In Arthur's reaction, the tissue damage is caused due to the antigen antibody complex, where it is equivalent or the antibody is slightly higher, and where the complex is deposited in the walls of the blood vessels, and this activates the complement and attracts the platelets in the blood vessels, and it results in platelet thrombosis, which blocks the blood vessels and it reduces the blood supply to the tissues, and this results in necrosis of the tissue. So when it comes to serum sickness, it is a single injection of higher concentration of the foreign particles, and when it is injected, the antibodies are reacting to it up to 7 to 12 days, and even then there is excess of antigen in our body, which results in deposition of the immune complex in the blood vessels throughout the body, and that results in activation of the complement and attraction of the platelets, as I said, in Arthur's reaction, and it results in necrosis of the tissue in the same way. This serum sickness differs from other hypersensitive reactions because this serum sickness acts as both sensitizing dose and the shocking dose. And some of the immune complex reaction diseases are dengue fever and malaria. When it comes to type 4 hypersensitivity, that is cell mediated reaction, it is also known as delayed reaction because it is mediated by T lymphocytes and not by antibodies, and it takes about 48 to 72 hours to get activated, and when the T lymphocytes come in contact with any other antigen, it releases leukocynes, and this is biologically affects the macrophages and lymphocytes and also the tissue cells. So as I said before, this type, that is type 4 hypersensitivity, is completely contrast to the other all types of hypersensitive reactions because all other types of antibody mediated, and this type is, that is type 4, is cell mediated, that is it is T lymphocyte mediated, and it cannot be transferred through circulating serum, but it can be transferred through lymphocytes and other transfer factors. And this type is broadly classified into two: tuberculin type and contact dermatitis type. So when it comes to tuberculin type, a small dose of tuberculin is injected intradermally to an individual who is sensitized to the tuberculin in prior, and it results in swelling and erythema in the site of injection within 48 to 72 hours, and the injection site is infiltrated with large amount of leukocytes and 10 to 12% macrophages, and this tuberculin test is a useful indicator for delayed hypersensitivity reaction against the bacilli, and this hypersensitivity reaction is against the bacteria, fungi and many other parasites, and it occurs when the infection is subacute and chronic and when the pathogen is intracellular. And now it is contact dermatitis type, where the hypersensitivity reaction may occur when the foreign particles get in contact with the skin at a range of any metal or objects such as nickel or any other antibodies such as penicillin or antibodies in the ointment or in the dye, hair dye or cosmetics or soap, where all these acts as haptens, and when it is absorbed by the skin, it combines with the proteins present in the skin and it changes into antigens, and this results in hypersensitive reactions, and the cell mediated immunity is developed in the skin itself. So when it comes to type 5, that is stimulatory type, it is also known as modified version of type 2 hypersensitivity because the antigen and antibody react on the surface of the cell, but it results in proliferation or differentiation of the cell instead of inhibiting or killing the cell. So, this antigen and antibody enhance the activity of cell and it affects the host. So, the common example of this type is Graves' disease, that is increase in the secretion of thyroid hormones, which is due to the antibody, that is long-acting thyroid stimulating antibody, which was developed against the antigen, that is thyroid membrane antigen, but it is assumed that this long-acting thyroid stimulating antibody reacts with the or combines with the thyroid stimulating hormone receptor in the surface of the thyroid cell, and it gives out the same function of thyroid stimulating hormone, and this results in excessive release of thyroid hormones, and that results in Graves' disease. So if you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe to this channel.